We have very special guests joining us this afternoon here on our Humble Chat segment, Lunga Tātou 685 show. As part of this year's Polyfest 50th anniversary celebrations, the Aggs Alumni Samoan Group is reuniting for a very special guest performance on the Samoan stage. Now, joining us in studio this afternoon to talk about this very special reunion as such, as well as a performance, members of the Aggs Alumni Samoan Group, Mandy Si'itia-Momoisea, Natarlia, Pouli-Lefale, and Marie Young. Talofa lava, ladies. Welcome to the show this afternoon.
Talofa.
It's great to have you with us. Thank you. I know you're all very busy with work and commitments. Natarlia just landing into the country earlier on from Australia. So thank you for making the time to join us this afternoon. Look, before we get into any of the business and any of the Autala Noa this afternoon, to level Noa, to, as we do with all our guests, whailoa mai oi, who you are, where you're from, who you're representing, your villages, and all of that good stuff. And then we'll get into our chat this afternoon.
Nice. What's Talofa lava? My name is Mandy Si'itia-Momoisea. I'm married to a Vaito Muli Paloli Savai. Bolivia, Tautua, Tainau. Yeah, and his father is Ailoi Momoisea, and then I'm also from the villages of Sapoe. That's where my mum is from, and Lufi, and then my father is from Fa'atoia, Samoa.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi. Talofa lava, everybody. My name is Natarlia, Pouli-Lefale. New Zealand born Samoan, but currently residing in Brisbane, Australia. So really feel blessed to be here to join our Samoan Alumni Group. So my villages, my dad's villages, Utuali'i, Safatoa, as well as Lalobanu, and then mum's is Salani and Leone Tutuila. So bit of a mix there, but yeah, just really proud to be here and looking forward to our chat today.
Yeah, Talofa lava, Marie Olo'ingoa, Marie Young. I'm here representing my Williams family and also my husband's family. He's a Chinese Samoan from Wellington. He's a Young. His mother, Sina, is from Vailima and his dad is from Apia. And my villages are Leova'a and Savaya near Lefanga.
Awesome.
Whaftai te le lava.
Malo whaftai. Look, getting straight into it. Obviously there's the 50th anniversary for Polyfest this year, which is in itself is a huge milestone for the festival. But for the Auckland girls, the old girls as such, or the alumni, what inspired you to think, maybe we should come together? What was the decision making and the inspiration behind coming together for this special reunion?
Okay, well, I volunteered for the car park team last year, the Polyfest, and I was on the side where the Samoan stage is, and just listening to all the music and watching all the kids come through. Yeah. And then, of course, Auckland girls came through on the stage, and I just knew straight away who was on stage without knowing. But, I just sort of looked over and I saw it was Auckland Girls Grammar, and it's just everything flooded back, all the trauma of the practices from this guy. And leaders before her. And just that whole time of work, hard work, discipline, commitment, it all just flooded back to me. And when I was talking to the coordinator or the organisers for Polyfest last year, they mentioned that they were going to be celebrating the 50 years this year. So it was actually then that I thought, oh my goodness, wouldn't it be cool if we brought 50 years worth of Auckland Girls Grammar Samoan groups back together to celebrate the milestone. So that's pretty much how we got going.
And obviously it's not an easy feat to do. It's not a simple task. Can you tell us how that process has been, bringing all the old girls together, the logistics of practices? Because I'd imagine a lot of you are now working or out, you know, for Natarlia, you're out of the country, and tell us about that process and bringing everyone in. What's that been like?
Well, the call out came from Mandy, so she got in contact. And of course I know, even though I'm over in Australia, anything to do with Auckland girls, especially the Samoan Group alumni, you know, it's heart and soul. We all remember our time back there. So even though we're only across the ditch, well, that I'm only across the ditch, when the call out came, I'm like, I'm there. What do we need to do? Where do we go? So it all started from there. Made a committee. Mandy organised a committee, and we've sort of been, you know, lucky for technology, we're able to speak over Teams, we're able to Messenger, all those types of things. So started organising from there. It has been difficult, but in saying that, because we have the same goal in mind, we're up for it. We're up for the challenge, and because of the pride of our school and the memories that we shared, you know, in the different generations of the Auckland Girls Samoan Group.
And I think that sentiment is shared by everyone. Like when Mandy put the call out, the places were literally full in 2 days. Like it was an overwhelming response. Like old girls just couldn't wait to come back and reconnect and jump on board with the idea. And you know, they really are putting in the hours and overseas practices online. It's incredible. Like we're just so excited that everyone's giving more than 100.
I just want to, for all our listeners who are tuning in and who are viewing on our Facebook live stream at the moment, just some stats around the, and when I was reading these stats, I was like, Auckland Girls Grammar School has won the Samoan competition 31 times over the last 50 years and have placed in the top 3 43 times. There's quite some numbers there. It's over half. Like, has that been like a big reasoning behind, like, obviously, again, the 50th celebrations, but just kind of locking in that legacy? Has that been a big part of, like, bringing all the ladies together?
To be honest, when it all came out, it was just to try and get together and I guess just to reconnect with all the women over 50 years. And the stats we didn't even know at the time when we first got going. And it wasn't till we got women from the 1970s, 1980s, 1990s, the best era, by the way. Then 2010s and 2020s that we realised, my goodness, we've won this thing quite a lot. And so we had to go back and do some research, not just for the content of our music and things, but also just to see exactly how many years have we actually done well. And I was surprised. I was genuinely surprised that we haven't placed for 7 of those 50 years.
Wow.
That was that was a surprise to me. So
I think it's more about legacy than results. Like it's more about it's about the history and the legacy, how one group ushers in the next and the next and the next, and how the teachings and the knowledge and the skills are passed down, and also how things evolve as well from then until now. It's been incredible, eh? And also maybe just a little bit on, you know, not just results but the standards. Like we give Natarlia a bit of stick as our drill sergeant, but you know, if we're thinking about legacy, part of the legacy is just having really high standards and shooting for the stars and aiming for excellence, because why not? And if anything, we have to keep reminding ourselves that we're not actually competing this year. Like we're just, we're not, you know,
we're not going for a place.
It's supposed to be fun. And it is fun, but we're still, like, it's hard. You can't beat that out of yourself.
It's ingrained.
It's ingrained. You just want to
do it right.
Do it really right.
You've touched on a really interesting point, which I was going to ask. Like, what's been the difference between, you know, back then? You brought up the trauma of, you know, back in school, but what's it been like? What's the experience like coming back now as alumni? And has that dynamic changed in any way, or are there, like, in rehearsal? Because we all know what a rehearsal is like with Samoan Group. If you know, you know. But has that dynamic changed in any way? And if so, how? From when it was, obviously, when you guys were students?
Well, obviously it's changed because we're a lot more mature now, you know. A lot of us have, life experience.
Yes.
So many of us have come back as mothers, as grandmothers even. So it's really nice to see all the different generations.
Yep.
So of course back in high school, we had the luxury of having lunchtime, after school practices, Saturdays.
Right.
And then, well, not in our time in the 90s, but I know sort of towards the 2000s they started doing live-ins, over the weekends. And there's nothing wrong with that, but we had that time to practice. Whereas now, because everyone's got their own lives, the fact that these women are just as passionate to give it their all and volunteering their time. These guys know, they already know, I do not compromise. This is how I teach Siva Samoa.
Nice.
If you're going to do it, you do it right, and you do it right the first time.
Yes.
That is never compromise, because I know just quickly for myself, growing up as a New Zealand born Samoan, I desperately wanted to connect to my culture, my roots. And so that was through church, through, the different times. And Siva, of course, for me. So, just knowing that importance, and then coming into high school and the Samoan Aggs, it was like, right, this is it. This is about our culture, pride. So it's definitely different. My teaching style I've had to adapt to everyone's learning styles, which is good, because that's also eye-opening for me. But I've really enjoyed it. We do have some fun, but when it's get down to business, it's
And the amazing thing is, after all these years, I guess the irony in it all is you're coming back and you're still learning. Like, it's still a place of learning, a place of growth. Have you had Okenye, anyone?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, don't ask me.
Because I imagine, back then they'll be like, it's out, because excuse me, like, have there been any instances like that in preparations?
We've heard the girls go mumu and say, we're not competing.
We're not competing another. You wait till Natarlia comes. So now that I'm here, like, oh, that's why. Because I'm very traditional. Look, put it this way, I'm very traditional. It's very much traditional Samoan way. But I'm very good now. I don't actually throw anything anymore. So I use my words with love.
Piercing love.
Yes, that's the spirit of Auckland girls. And now, I know we get a lot of hate here and there, but one thing we do foster in the school, especially through culture groups, not just the Samoan, right throughout, is going out there and making, Miss Brown always says, we're carrying our father and our mother's names, and that we're carrying the name of the school. So, all the getting it to that level is more so that they really, we're goal seeing that, making sure that we're giving it the best, we're doing it justice.
No, that's beautiful. Tell us about the numbers of the group. Like, what are the numbers looking like? You've kind of given a brief in terms of the different generations that have come through to be part of the group. What can we expect?
Well, we're at a performance team of 82.
Oh, wow. Yep.
Yeah. So we're going to hit that stage majorly.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
It's not the typical way, because I think it's usually around 56.
50,
Or 50. So it's a big group.
Yeah.
Oh, but like we were talking about standard, there was 120.
Wow.
But commitment, even capability. People, when they came in, they saw, oh my goodness, it isn't going to be a walk in the park.
Right.
And that's okay, because like we said, everyone's got priorities now. We're all mums, we're all working women. So it came down to 82 strong. So they will be, if not the same as when we were 16, better.
Yes, love that.
The voices and the music is a lot richer. We can sing deeper. They'll expect some bass in there.
We always had that. And can we just say that even back in the 90s, we always had bass. We were always teased, being asked, did you guys have guys in your performance? But it wasn't.
Hey, it's called being dynamic.
That's right.
It's called being dynamic.
And in terms of what you can expect, like you talked about the different decades, each decade will have its moment to shine.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So, taking you through a time machine.
Yeah.
Love that.
Journey through time.
looking back, because I can imagine this whole process has been one whole reflection exercise for everyone that's involved. Looking back, maybe if you'd like to share some of the memorable moments or some of your favorite moments that you can remember from your time, in school at Polyfest. It might have been the year that you guys took it out, or you were part of that cohort. If you'd like to share some memories from the good old days, if any.
I have one. I have, and I'm sure every school that works really, really hard for the festival they'll understand this feeling.
Yeah.
And it was working your butts off for 3-4 months straight, and then hearing your school being called out as winning that particular section.
Absolutely.
So my personal memory was that I had the best tutor.
Yeah.
And I had lots of, we had big shoes to fill because Natarlia is a bit of a legend through winning Tau Bowl consistently. So when she left, we were, what are we going to do now?
Yeah.
But she did take the time to come back, and she tutored me properly, and my fondest memories is having her explain what I was dancing and teaching me what it is that we were doing. And I've taken that memory back, and we worked really hard, and then when they called out the winning tapo, I know year on year you get tapos win, you get Fortamis win, but I think for me that was just the most amazing moment of joy. Just my head went down, everyone's screaming and my head goes down, and I just thanking the Lord for the energy and the strength and the hard work that we had to go through to get there. But I know that's shared from a lot of serious some of our young people that actually take the festival not just as a performance, but as something that they really wanted to do, and they share that experience too. So I'm so grateful that the festival exists, because those memories can be had by hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of children out there. What are your favourite memories?
It was funny, I was talking to my dad the other day, and he goes, I remember when, because I was in the group in 1994, and I think we came third. And he goes, you came third and then you cried. Why would you cry? You came third.
That's BJ.
And I said, Dad, do you like coming third? If you shoot for first, are you happy when you get third? He's like, no way. And I said, voila. And that's just the thing, we just always wanted to do well. We really wanted to do well, but it was just a moment. And the other thing I'm thinking is that my husband always makes fun of me because he's from Wellington, and their one down there is non-comp. They just have a fun festival, two tangata. And he goes, wow, you Aucklanders, you're all so serious. Auckland girls are so extra. And our son is at school down there now at St. Pat's in Kilburnie, and he's going to be experiencing two tangata in July, and we're going to go down. But it's just so nice to just to have that family fun of Auckland girls, you're so extra.
But I feel like it's a very human thing. It's a very natural thing. Like we said before, no one goes into these swingale whaafa. It was like, it's for the culture and for the. But deep inside as Samoans, we're so competitive. Like that's just how we are. So the crying thing is it's understandable, especially when you put your heart into it.
Very fond memories, during high school. So I'm sure these ladies as well, but I know for myself, I was in Auckland Girls. For those that don't know, when you go to Auckland Girls, you have to audition. You have to trial to get into this group of back then it was like 56. So you have hundreds of girls who rock up, who want to, and so you've got to come with your best. So I know I'm very grateful that, I've always done Siva when I was younger through church. And that was actually one of the reasons why I wanted to go to Auckland Girls, because of the Samoan group. I saw them in the year before I started. I saw them in Samoa, and I was like, wow, I would love to be a part of that dancing group. I found out my first cousins go there. I lived on the North Shore, and I was like, I will do anything to get into that school. Got in, obviously really happy to. And then, so from third form to 7th form. I'm sure the younger ones are going, what is that? So that's high school, guys, the 5 years of high school. So I was in the group since 3rd form. So I actually trialled for Taupō from 3rd form.
Wow.
But I was made a aiuli because usually the honour was given to a senior, 7th form. Which
Courageous.
Was courageous.
I have to say that's courageous because, again, if you know, you know.
She could have done it. She could have done it.
Year 9ers going trial.
That's how much I love Siva.
Like all the drums.
Exactly.
And,
do the hard yards. But that's how much I love Siva. I was like, no, I'm going to do it. I was always confident. But I was aiuli, which was great. And then 4th form, I trialled again. So I was Taupō for 4 years.
Wow.
But then my last 3 years, I was able to win consecutively. So that's obviously a big memory for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, the last year, when Mandy was in the group, I was a leader as well as Taupō. So it was a lot of stress, but there was also a documentary that was made on a Samoan group, a Cook Island group and a Tongan group. So that's floating around still somewhere in the internet. But it pretty much documented our win that year and just all the hard work. So I watch back and I cringe and I'm like, oh, I was really mean, eh? Yeah, okay. But anyway, but again, like she said, So yeah, those were my fondest memories, but yeah, it's showing Samoan pride and then even experiencing it through the lens of other schools and how they see it. And then of course you're sitting there going, nah, that wasn't that good enough, with our standards, but it's all love for our culture. So yeah.
One thing I do want to ask is because I know there are, especially from parents, understandably, especially in the past, since the last 50 years since Polyfest has been around, there's always been like a certain attitude towards the students. Whapea, whai ngā festival, mai, like, wheo lako aonga, pele pasi lako pepa, the balancing of the nganga for the culture and the nganga towards studies. Was that an issue that kind of came up for you guys during your time, and how did you navigate that, if so?
No, personally, from the time that I was at school, no, because I was always strict at school, and we were looked after by Palangi teachers. We had Miss Brown, but those Palangi teachers gave us the ultimatum. You better get to class, this, that, or you're going to lose this and that. So no, I don't. I believe other schools might have that issue. I don't know about Aggs now, to be honest, but it was very much, that's the festival. You get all your time for the festival, and once it's finished, that's it. Hit the school books. We're back to winning sports and winning everything else, because we went for everything, not just not just Samoan group. That's when it started, and then it was netball, it was softball, and So,
what would you say to any parents who are currently today, who are still having those attitudes, whaingale, as I guess any word of encouragement, whaingale, bully, or to kind of ease their mind on the stress of, are my kids spending too much time at Polyfest, or like that kind of thing? Any kind of advice for parents who might be experiencing that?
I think if anything, it really comes down to I know for myself, it'll be the parent to the child. If the child is able to explain, look, this is Polyfest, and even just, breaking down, look, we're just going to have practices lunchtime after school, and also for the child to be, truthful about where they are, at what's in time, communication. Oh my goodness, my kids are going to be like, oh, here we go again. Just communicate with your parents. Of course, if they have issues, they can bring it up with the school, but I really feel that if there's open communication between the child and their parent, and they help them understand, or even if they don't, maybe there's someone we had Mrs. Brown back in the day, that they can speak to at a teacher level, at the school, just to help them understand this is what happens, it's for this period of time.
And the value in that.
Exactly. Because there is value, obviously, for our culture, but of course it has to be balanced with the academic side. And it really, isn't it? It's really up to the child to be like, are you doing your homework? You still got to do your homework, not just sit there and learn your sasa or something like that. So for me, that's where it should be, communication between the parents. It's hard for us to just say to parents, just let your child do it, you know.
Yeah,
because it really, that conversation has to be had between parent and child.
Yeah. And, you know, as a parent whose child, he went to Max, he wanted to join the Tongan group and all of that, and I had to think about, what about your studies, and what about rugby, and
right.
he went to that school for rugby, well, not Samoan group, but what I saw is what we experienced, is that if you've got good tutors in the school or leaders, they're teaching discipline, they're teaching commitment, and they're doing their practices within a controlled, you know, they're not going 24/7. And we didn't have that. Auckland girls had the lunch times and an hour, I think, just 1 hour. We never went into 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, none of that. We just had from the time 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, and we were home 4:30 at the latest. And we were lucky if we got a live-in. And I know schools today, like Dilworth as well, I'm sure they won't mind me saying, they only practice on the Friday. They can't practice throughout the week. And the Saturday. So they proved themselves. They came second last year, and they still have very high academic results. So it all comes down to, I agree, it's between the parent and the child, and if the child really wants to be the best Samoan woman or girl or boy, they'll carry that throughout even their schooling, not just on the stage.
Beautiful. Looking towards the performance for Polyfest, but more so afterwards. Are there any, I guess, plans for this mafutanga to be like a continued mafutanga of alumni, or is this just a one-off and then enjoy the moment, celebrate, on Kaapela, like are there any plans or anything in the works that?
Oh, just our feature film, With
the Netflix deal.
When someone does a documentary, when someone does a movie on our
Mickey Mouse. We've talked about it a little bit. Like I've been enjoying, getting together with the group many times a week to sing, to dance, to connect, and a few of us have said, wouldn't it be so cool if we keep it going, maybe get together every now and then and just keep some stuff performance ready. There might be the odd community festival or something that we can perform at. If some festival in Hawaii or Europe wants to have us, then who are we to deny them? Who knows what the future holds, It is.
But absolutely want to stay connected to the school more now, because we've been away for a long time, and meeting Marie and hearing more about the foundation. Aggs has an Old Girls Association. Now, albeit it hasn't really been Pacifica, I guess, but this could be a start of something like that.
And there is a new Pacifica Parents Association at the school now too, so they can work with the Aggs Foundation, with the Old Girls Association, with the school, and we've got a lot of creative people, so who knows what we can do in the future.
Cool. In closing, as we kind of wrap up our interview this afternoon, do you have a message for not only for anyone who's listening, especially our young ones who are taking part in Polyfest this year, but more so for the current AGGS Samoan Group and I guess future generations of students that will carry on this legacy? A message of encouragement or any words of advice from the alumni?
We'll have one each, okay? So they get 3 messages. So we were down there on Saturday to meet with the girls, and there was a little bit of intimidation because they're so worried about not meeting the standard, having all these former AGGS girls come back on the grounds. And also there's the pressure of having to retain the cup they won last year. They've got that pressure on them. So the same message I gave then is the same message I would say to everyone out there that's preparing for festival, is to not get too serious about themselves. Like, enjoy the moment, enjoy the experience, enjoy the hard work, because it pays off. It really does. And just make sure that when they're out there, the best is, all they can give is their best. And just to let it rip so that everyone can see all the hard work and all the talent that Samoan, New Zealand born and raised Samoan children or youth can do. I mean, majority are not born in Samoa, but the level and the standard, I'll probably get in trouble for this, is sometimes better than Samoa in Samoa. Not to say that we're better, it's to say that the standard is, the discipline and everything that goes into it. So yeah, if anything, enjoy it. Don't waste any opportunity to really have a good time while they're doing Polyfest, because when you get older like us, you do actually miss it.
Definitely.
I think for me, I read an interview with Lisa Carrington, Olympic champion, the other day, and she was talking about when she's on the water, she's not hung up on the result. Right. She's not focusing on getting the gold medal. She's just enjoying being out on the water, paddling, and doing the very best that she can. And I was talking to Mandy the other day, just saying, you know, I think that's the same with performing as part of Polyfest. Like, don't get hung up on the result. Just sing and dance and be in the moment, and you will fly. And who knows, that will translate to the audience and the judges, and you may end up with the result that you want kind of by default, but don't get hung up on that. So yeah, that's my message to the AGGS current students and all of the students performing at Polyfest. Just same as Mandy, enjoy it, really relish it, and just do it for yourself and your family, because it's a beautiful opportunity.
Absolutely. Well, I definitely agree with the ladies here. I know for myself, coming from a tutoring, lens, I would definitely say it's been interesting, obviously, with the different generations, how people learn differently, like I said before. I know from a tutor's point of view, for the younger generation now, it's still important to look back to your roots. That's right. That's where a lot of this has come from, and I will be honest, you have actually seen that. Obviously, Siva has evolved over the years, but we've actually drawn away from the basics of what is a ma'ululu, what is a sasa, what is the role of a tau ball for taimi, and others are probably going, oh no, more stuff to study, but this is our identity, especially if you are Samoan. It's very important, and this is something that you carry. It's not just something you show on stage. So look back, go back to go speak to your grandparents. If you're fortunate enough that your great grandparents are still alive, speak to them about what they experienced. Remember, our Siva is a depiction of how we told stories back in the day, right? And it's all in the songs. You'll hear it in the songs. So,
absolutely.
So, I love that people have evolved with music. Our Samoan music even brought back older music. But for those who are teaching, I definitely would say, if you need a starting point, go back. Look back to the original. Go back to your roots. Work from that. Sometimes, actually, simplicity is best. It doesn't need to be flashy. It doesn't need to be Hollywood style. Go back to what is basic. Trust me, it will. I think they'll definitely benefit, and I know their parents and grandparents, they'll appreciate it more, because it's like, I remember that. That's what I remember from when I was younger. Always think back to your roots, especially because we live, and a lot of us are born here. Go back to your roots. Never. Don't go too far from that. And get caught up in the world and everything that's flashy, and then it starts to get mixed with other cultures and becomes commercialized. Come back to your roots.
Bring it back home, man.
Bring it back home. That's my advice.
Beautiful. Look, on behalf of Pimin Samoa and the 685 show, I want to say thank you. Just to share, it's been really awesome just seeing the love that you have for not only your school, but the Tatuanga Nu'u culture, and as you prepare for the Polyfest performance, we wish you all the best. And we're looking forward to seeing you all, the 82 strong. Man, that's going to be so awesome. You're hitting the stage on the Saturday. I believe you guys will be performing on Saturday. So please, Samoa, if you are out and about at Polyfest, please, this will be a performance you do not want to miss, alongside all the rest of our amazing schools who are preparing for Polyfest. Be sure to check out the AGGS Samoan Group alumni, Tēnei Kalama. Thank you again for joining us, and all the best for the preparations.
Thank you.
Yeah, there we go.
You just had to.